GolfNewsRI presents the Golf Dudes Podcast. Here are the dudes.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Golf Dudes Podcast. I'm Joe Calabro. Thanks for tuning in on this Thursday. Just me today, as Rich is working, but I hope all you are having a great Thursday, another fine fall day here in Rhode Island, and obviously lots to get to. Much of the show is going to be focused on the latest news regarding the Triggs bid, which is quickly ramping up over the last day or so. And obviously we have Davis Chatfield in Q School and a couple other things to hit on, but for the most part, Triggs is certainly where we're starting and probably staying for a while. So we'll get into that. But first, let me tell you that the Golf Dudes Podcast is presented by Strings. Strings is best known for their transfusion in a can. A transfusion is vodka, ginger ale, and grape juice all mixed up into one refreshing beverage. They also have two new flavors, the front nine and the back nine. The front nine is orange juice. The back nine is cranberry juice. So check those out at liquor stores and golf clubs near you. They're in about 20 clubs across the state of Rhode Island, and they're in 20 something states across the country. So good for Link's Drinks, and check them out. Again, the Golf Dudes Podcast is presented by our friends at Link's Drinks, and we're thankful for their support in this golf world that we are working in. So lots to get to. Again, hope everyone's well. So the Triggs, there's a public hearing on Wednesday, October 26th at 9 a.m. at City Hall. Sources tell me that could be the potential announcement. I'm not sure why I would do it in a public hearing. I think there's another meeting where they award the bids, but I could be completely wrong. But I saw somebody this morning and they said they think Wednesday could be the announcement of who gets the bid for the Triggs, either Riga, FCG Associates, or Northeast Golf Company. But let's be honest, it's really between Riga and FCG Associates. Excuse me. So there's a hearing on Wednesday morning at City Hall. I'm not exactly sure where exactly in City Hall the hearing is. I think it's just in that main. It's not a conference room, but like the main room there, on like the third floor, if I remember correctly. So obviously GolfNewsRI will be there. We'll let you know about coverage plans for that. I'm thinking about trying to stream it on Facebook, but for those who've been to City Hall before, and I have for my previous gig, it's not exactly, the Wi-Fi there is not exactly tremendous. So we'll see what happens, but we'll obviously be there covering the event and see what we can do. Maybe we'll just take a video and post the video afterward. But I had to look into that. So that's on next Wednesday, the 26th at 9 a.m. So that was the biggest thing that we found out yesterday. Because I don't think anybody even knew there was a public hearing before that. So at least they told us. So that was good. So the other thing obviously that happened yesterday, which we posted, the Rhode Island Golf Association sent out a press release, basically, promoting their bid. Really, it was to announce that they made a bid on Triggs, which is funny because everybody already knew that because we reported that a month ago. So they announced a month later that they're making a bid on Triggs. Obviously, you all know the bid. We've broken down. There's links to the bid in our article. So they put that out yesterday. I did come with some good quotes from Bob Ward and from other people in the community, Buttonhole as well. So that was a plus from it. Other than that, there wasn't too much we didn't really know. They did summarize their bid, which a lot of it is kind of what we knew from going through the bid a month ago. But there were some interesting quotes in it. So a lot of questions about this, though, is as far as why now? Like why wait a month to put this out. And perhaps some people speculated on our Facebook page that perhaps they're worried about the results. Perhaps they don't think it's on the up and up. So I'm not sure of the case. I don't know, what the reason is. But they know a decision is coming. They want to kind of get out ahead of it. So that was one question that people had as far as why put this out now? Are they nervous? Are they worried they're not going to get it? Whatever the case may be. So that certainly could be a reason. There's been obviously a lot of hearsay in just the last day or two, and I'm not reporting this, or I'm not saying this is what's going to happen. I don't know. These are just people talking, and a lot of people think that FCG Associates is going to get the bid. So I don't know if this is informed or if they know something. I believe that Riga has the best bid. I've said it before, and believe me, Riga and GolfNewsRI are not like the best of friends. So, I'm not just like saying it to kiss their ass. So I'm not sure where some of these people are getting that from. And these are golf people, not necessarily the people involved in the deal, but these are golf people that aren't just, saying things out of nowhere, I believe. So that's happened over the last day or two. Again, there's not official like sources. These are just people I'm hearing in the golf community. Again, I'm not reporting it. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. I don't know. But it is weird that Riga releases a statement, and then I have 3 and 4 people telling me, again, golf people, telling me that they think FCG gets the bid or that FCG got the bid, believe it or not. So I'm not saying that any of that is true. Hopefully it's not. Hopefully there's a vote or a real decision made. But that's what I heard over the last day or two. Again, not official sources. I'm not reporting this. I'm not writing this. But take it for what it's worth. So the Riga press release sent out yesterday basically included quotes from Bob Ward. Obviously included quotes from Buttonhole, which in the bid, if you remember, Buttonhole actually submitted a letter to the city council saying that Riga should get the bid, etc. And there's also a quote from Michael Sabatoni, who is the president of the Rhode Island Building Trades. So yeah, all that, you can read all those quotes on our press release. On our website, GolfNewsRI.com, obviously. So what was interesting was talking about, and here's where the back and forth goes. What's interesting is the quotes from Bob Ward, who we haven't really heard from. I mean, we haven't really heard from him on this. Obviously, he doesn't speak much as far as things are going in the community. But he gave some great quotes about Triggs and about the Riga bid. And then in a Boston Globe article, Carl Augustine, who's FCG Associates, they're the current owners, or not owners, but the current managers of Triggs. He kind of goes back at him a little bit, kind of. About Triggs, Ward says, quote, "This is province's only 18-hole golf course, and the members of the community it serves come from a very diverse customer base. They all need to be involved in the future of Triggs. We want to ensure robust programming that encourages golfers of all ages and capabilities. We want Triggs to be something that the community can be proud of and take pride in." He also says, about we have a vision to manage the course that will return it to its glory and make it one of the most renowned municipal courses in the nation. The reality is the facilities and clubhouse are badly outdated, and the course needs major upgrades and repairs. We are committed to significant capital investments, approximately $9 million over the 10-year lease or so, in both the course and clubhouse. These investments will require a long-term vision and long-term commitment. It took decades for Triggs to fall into its current condition. A turnaround will not happen overnight, but we have a comprehensive plan for both the immediate and future years to ensure a full restoration. Again, that was Bob Ward in the press release that Riga sent out yesterday through their communications team. Also, obviously, you can read that quote in our article on GolfNewsRI.com. There it is. So those are quotes from Bob Ward. So the Boston Globe, Dan McGowan, he also put a story up built around this press release. He had quotes from Carl Augustine, and Carl Augustine basically kind of said, and Augustine's quotes in the piece were short ish, but he basically said that this is what they've been hearing for years, and they continue to run Triggs, and he was disappointed that Riga got the bid, or Riga is bidding against them, because he feels like they are a benefactor, a great benefactor to Riga. That was Carl's quote in the Dan McGowan piece. You can't read it, of course, because it's behind a paywall on the Boston Globe, but somebody sent me the screenshots yesterday, so I was able to read it. So there's this budding rivalry between Carl Augustine, FCG Associates, and Riga. This could all come to a head on Wednesday morning during the public hearing at 9 a.m. So things will continue to get more interesting with that. I think there's a lot of questions. Like, one is, why Riga sends this out now, a month later, but also, FCG Associates really hasn't sent anything out. This is the first time Carl talked in this Boston Globe article about it that I've seen. I know he spends a ton of time down in Florida with his, grandkids or whatever, which is great. So it's interesting that now kind of these comments are kind of coming out. What's going to be really interesting is this weekend is the McCormick shootout in memory of Mike McCormick, of course, the father of Time McCormick. And that's at Triggs this weekend with all the top amateurs, or a lot of the top amateurs in the state. And supposedly both Bob Ward and Carl are going to be there, because they both kind of run the event, run the skins pool, whatever they do. So there could be some fireworks this weekend over at Triggs. So could be something to watch for sure. If this is, this quote unquote rivalry is building up as much as people say it is. So that could be something to watch for. The other thing that was in the Boston Globe piece, McGowan asked, I believe he asked Carl, what if Riga and FCG Associates kind of work together, to run Triggs and build it into this great course, this USGA type facility where the USGA might actually look at it for maybe not for like a US Open or anything, but you know what I mean, for kind of like smaller but prestigious events type of thing. And Carl said that's not likely. Obviously, they have to split their profits and do the whole thing. So Carl they weren't going to do that. I don't imagine Riga necessarily would want to do that either. I don't know that for sure, but I'm assuming that would be the case. So that was kind of interesting. So interesting stuff regarding Triggs that came out yesterday. A lot came out of that press release, and a lot more questions kind of came out about it. Like I said, people were wondering on our Facebook page, why send this out now? What's the purpose? It's kind of strange to send this out now. So I'm not sure. I was surprised. Well, I was surprised that we were sent it, but I was surprised to see it, especially since it was a month later, and it was already. Everybody knows that Riga bid on it, because they kind of framed it as they were announcing their bid for Triggs, but everybody kind of already knew that. I mean, our articles on it did hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of page views. They still do page views to this day. So it was interesting. It was definitely strange. I agree that it was strange, but you wonder what kind of the purpose of that was. And then of course the Globe went and got quotes from Carl, which kind of was great, because it gave kind of everyone some background from the other side. Excuse me. So lots going on with Triggs. Again, this weekend with the McCormick shootout, kind of both parties are going to be there, as far as Riga party and Carl. So could be interesting, to say the least. So if you want to see some fireworks, go to Triggs. Or potential fireworks, you go to Triggs. So So there is that. That's obviously the biggest story. Again, public hearing Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. At City Hall. So if you're around, it's public. It's open to the public. I don't know. Again, I have to do some research into this exactly. But usually, or a lot of times, there's a live stream of these things. I'm not sure if that will be the case with this one. I know a lot of hearings are streamed, and or you can at least find the video of the hearings. I'm not sure they necessarily advertise the live stream. So I have to look into that. We might live stream it ourselves on the GolfNewsRI Facebook page, and see how that looks. But again, like I said, for those that have been in City Hall before, and if you ever tried to, for some reason, produce a video at City Hall, live on your phone, it doesn't usually. The Wi-Fi is not exactly tremendous, so we're gonna look into it. Maybe run a test, and we'll let you guys know by kind of Tuesday ish what our plans, if we are going to live stream it, and how exactly we're going to cover it. That way everybody knows where to look. It could be just as basic. I mean, there's a chance that we just do a basic article about it, and that's it. But I hope we'll be able to do more than that. So that is the plan for that. Again, Wednesday at 9 a.m. is the public hearing for Triggs. Supposedly, again, according to somebody I talked to this morning, this could be where they award the bid. I thought they usually do it in a regular meeting, a regular Board of Contracts and Supply meeting or Parks meeting, whatever it is. So I thought that's where they would do it, but I guess there's always a chance. I'm not sure if it's going to be open to public comment. Usually these public hearings usually have a time for public comment. So we'll see. Again, these are all things that I don't know. So I will figure that out over the next couple of days and get back to you all on it. Again, this is my first time kind of going through this as far as golf is related, with the bids and this. So I'm kind of learning along with you guys. So I will let you know on all of those things. We did complete the poll for a month ago. We put out our poll question, our GolfNewsRI poll, asking people who they wanted to see win the bid, who they thought had the best bid. We had nearly 200 votes, so obviously that's not, it's not thousands and thousands of votes, but we did nearly 200 votes. The goal was to target people who read the bids, or at least read our summaries of the bids. If you didn't read the actual bid, I don't really blame you. And so, and our polls show overwhelmingly that people wanted Riga to win the bid, or that people want Riga to win the bid. People thought Riga had the best bid of the three, and that's again what I said a couple of podcasts ago when we held that Triggs forum. It was like 3 or 4 weeks ago, probably. So that was consistent with what we had thought was going to happen. We thought Riga was going to get the most votes. So if you want to view the charts, the results are actually on the bottom of the article that we posted yesterday, or posted Wednesday. If you scroll all the way down, there's a short slideshow. It's only 2 slides. Don't fret. And the results are actually down there, so you can see them for yourself. We did submit the poll results to the city of Providence, and I sent an email to the city clerk. Was it Monday or Tuesday maybe? So we did submit the results to the city of Providence for them to use if they want. I have no idea if they're going to use them or not, or if it's even going to matter. They might determine that it's not enough votes, or it's not enough votes for it to matter. I don't know, but we did submit them just for the hell of it. And again, we're not submitting them because Riga won the bid. I would have submitted them we're not submitting them because Riga had the most votes. I would have submitted them if FCG had the most votes, or if Northeast Golf Company had the most votes. That was something I was thinking of before I even kind of started, or when I first launched that short poll. is, hey, if we get a reasonable amount of votes, maybe I can submit it. I'll send it to the city of Providence, and they can use it or not use it or whatever they want to do. I have no idea. So we did send in the poll results, and will that be a factor? And again, it shows overwhelmingly that people want Riga to win the bid. Will that matter at the end of the day? I'm not sure. Again, I'm kind of learning with all of you guys on this, so I'm not sure that's going to matter. But we did send in the results, so that that is where we are with that. I do want to get back into the Triggs bid, because I do think there's another aspect of this, kind of coming off of the dueling quotes, I guess, if you will, in the Globe article and in the Riga press release. I do want to get back to that because there is interesting stuff, or at least another interesting aspect of it that I think could be a huge factor. But the other story, of course, is Davis Chatfield in stage 2 of Q School down in Florida. And again, this Q School stuff has been fun to follow. If I know all you guys are following it as well. So keep in mind, this stage, in stage 2, and at least in his particular tournament, the top 18 players in ties make the cut to the final stage of Q School, which is in early November. Now, as I have said, and it is confusing, everybody who qualifies for the final stage gets a Corn Ferry Tour card. So if Chatfield makes it to the final stage, if he makes the cut, he's a Corn Ferry Tour member for at least next year, and perhaps I'm not sure what the excuse me, I'm not sure what the exemption is on it, but he's a Corn Ferry Tour member for at least next year. Now, the caveat, of course, is you have to tee up in the final stage. So if Chatfield makes the cut here, right, if he finishes 12th or 13th or first or whatever, so if he makes the cut here, then he decides that he's going to skip, the final stage. I'm not saying that he would do that. He would do that, obviously. That doesn't make any sense. You've come this far. I'm just saying, if he decides he's going to skip the final stage for whatever reason, you don't get a Corn Ferry Tour card. You have to at least tee it up in the final stage. That's at least my understanding. So you have to at least tee off on that first day of the tournament, and go from there. Then you get your Corn Ferry Tour card. So keep that in mind. So essentially, in this stage 2, he's playing for a job. Yesterday, he shot 73. He fell from 4th to 35th. So you think Q School is hard? There you go. 4th to 35th in 2 shots, basically. And so now this morning he's already teed off, or at the time of this taping, he's already teed off, and he's 2 under through 9. They only update through 9-hole scoring, so it's tough to really get a gauge on where exactly he is. But he's 2 under, and he's moved into a tie for 31st. But the reality is, at least according to this, again, this is at around noontime on Thursday. The reality is he's only 1 shot off the cut. 7 under is a tie for 18th as of now. Obviously, that's going to change significantly throughout the day. It's probably already changed by the time you see this podcast. But at least at this moment, he's still in the mix. And pay no attention really to the tie for 31st, because it's really just, it doesn't mean anything. You have to look at the numbers and where he is in relation to the top 18. So whether he's tied for 31st or tied for 41st or tied for 12th, you got to look at the numbers in relation to the top 18, not necessarily the actual, standings, if that makes any sense. So that's where he is now. He's 2 under, again, playing down in Florida. That Q School round will wrap up this afternoon. They've all been ending, which has been nice, because I've been able to get a story up early enough for people to read it. All these rounds have been ending around 4 p.m. or so every day, 5 p.m. maybe at the latest, because obviously there's only so many players. So it's actually been nice. Usually some of these things, they go on like forever. Like some of the Monday Qs and even some of the local qualifiers, it just like takes forever to finish, because there's so many people and it's a grind, obviously. But this has actually been nice. It's been finishing around 4 p.m. every day for the most part. Chatfield was the first group off today, Thursday. So there's that. So that is what we're watching there. Patrick Welsh back in college golf. He's playing for Oklahoma, obviously. He had a great tournament in the match play. Unfortunately, Oklahoma lost the championship match to Texas Tech in the Big 12 match play tournament. So tough loss for them, but they played really well. Patrick played really well throughout the entire tournament, won every match except for the last one, where he lost 4-3 to Jack Wall of Texas Tech. Again, Jack Wall is one of the top players, top amateurs in the country as well. So it was a good battle, but that's where we are with that. So let's do this. I want to take a quick commercial break, and then I want to get back into this Triggs thing. I want to kind of try to spin this forward a little bit. Let's spin this forward a year and paint the scenario, and that I think is fascinating, especially with this apparent budding rivalry between Carl Augustine and Riga. I think it's a fascinating thing to do and look at. So we're going to do that when we come back from this commercial break. This is the Golf Dudes Podcast. Be right back. Billy Andre joins the show. Billy, thanks so much for doing this, and we appreciate you taking the time.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
I'm very excited to be joined by an 11-time Emmy Award winner, and that is Armin Katayan. Massachusetts Women's Amateur Champion Allison Paik.
The days of the country club just being golf and maybe one amenity are gone. Unfortunately, Metacomet doesn't have those.
He has a very rare condition called kyphoscoliotic Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. And at the time of diagnosis, there was only 60 documented cases in the world.
I mean, we legitimately played the last 4 holes at Newport National. You could not see 50 yards.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Golf Dudes Podcast. Joe Calabro here. Just me today. Hope everyone's having a great Thursday. Again, the Golf Dudes Podcast is presented by Link Strengths. Link Strengths, of course, is best known for their transfusion in a can. And obviously there's various different ways, there's a couple different versions of the transfusion. There's the front 9, there's the back 9, there's the regular transfusion. And obviously all those are mixed with various flavors. Sorry, this is running up the stairs for a second. Anyways, so thanks to Link Strengths for their support, of course, continued support, and thanks to all of you for your continued support. So to get back into this Triggs thing, I think there's a fascinating angle to this that hasn't been talked about yet. Maybe perhaps it hasn't really approached people's minds at the moment, but reading the press release sent out yesterday by the Riga, then reading Carl Augustine's comments in the Globe. Again, you can't read them unless you subscribe and pay for it, but somebody was nice enough to send me the screenshots of it, so thank you to that person. But anyways, reading the two comments back and forth, and clearly there's a little bit of a rivalry between the two now. Seems that's what kind of article painted. Carl was asked if they would consider working together to run Triggs. He said no. Again, I'm sure Rico would probably say the same thing. They don't want to split the profits. They don't want to split, duties or whatever. So I'm sure both of them would say no. But Carl is quoted as saying no, it's not likely. And Carl was saying he's disappointed that Riga is bidding against them. They've been a great benefactor to Riga, etc. So, and Bob Ward said the place is outdated and needs significant improvements, badly outdated, and the course needs major upgrades and repairs. That's Bob Ward's comment. Now, just for the record, and not that this means anything, but I played Triggs earlier this year, and I've been at Triggs multiple times for various different tournaments. I thought the course, the facilities are facilities. Obviously, you can always upgrade. I thought the course was in great shape. I thought the greens were great. I thought the fairways were great. I thought the tee boxes were great. I thought there was actually grass in the rough. which was nice. That hasn't always been the case. So I actually thought the course itself wasn't in great shape for when I played it. Anyway, so whatever that's worth, it's probably worth nothing. But that was my opinion. I was like, wow, this place really looks nice. It's probably but I thought it was as good a shape as it's ever been in when I played it a couple months ago. So take that for what it's worth. But anyways, let's spin this forward. Let's spin this forward, say a year or 2 years or whatever number you want to put on it, really. It doesn't matter. So say, for the sake of this argument, again, I'm not saying this is what's going to happen. Who knows? Again, let's say that FCG wins the bid. All right. Let's say FCG wins the bid. They retain Triggs for another 10 years. They bid just under $3 million. Riga bid just over $3 million. So the difference between the two bids is really a couple $100. Figuratively speaking, of course. So anyway, so let's just say FCG wins the bid. Okay. Is Riga gonna go there? Is Riga gonna call up Triggs and say, hey, can we host the Ryan Stroke Play tournament there this year? Or the RI Amateur? Can we host anything? Can we host, are they gonna call Triggs and ask if they can host a tournament there? And if they do, I mean, they probably will. But if they do, is Carl going to tell them to go screw? Because Carl's mad that Triggs, that Riga was bidding against him and trying to take his quote unquote golf course. I mean, he said it's kind of a labor of love type of thing for him now. It's his legacy. He said in the Boston Globe article that he views it on his legacy. So I think it's an interesting question to ask. Now, maybe things will go back to normal and they'll all get over it, and everybody will move on. And hopefully that is the case. Because obviously we can't afford to lose golf courses, and Riga, and I'm sure everybody else, a lot of other associations of golf have had tons of trouble just finding courses this year, when there's still a good amount of courses to play. They especially had trouble finding courses for the kids events, for the junior amateur and events like that. So now if they potentially lose another course because of this, what's going to happen? So I just think that's an interesting question to ask, and I don't think it's being thought about much. I don't blame you. It's not something that people wonder every day. But what if FCG wins the bid and Riga wants to go there next year for the whatever tournament, the stroke play or the mid amateur. I think this year the mid amateur was held at Triggs, if I'm not mistaken. And Larry LaFauci won. Is Carl Augustine going to say, sure, come on in? Or he's going to say, nope, you guys can go screw. You try to take my golf course. Is it? I don't know if the rivalry or the bitterness, if you will, is going to get to that level, but I think it's a worthy question. I think it's interesting, and I think it's something to watch going forward. So what's going to happen with it going forward, depending on who wins? Obviously, if Riga wins the bid, it's not going to work in reverse. Obviously, they can host all their tournaments there. They'll always have a course to host tournaments. It'd probably be the best thing for Rhode Island golf. Which is one of the reasons why I think Riga has the best bid and is the best option. But I think it'd be the best thing for Island golf. They'd always have a course for everything. They said in their, I don't know if they said it in the actual bid itself. I don't remember. They do mention it. Bob Ward does mention it in the press release that they would. Where is it? That they would bring. He says they would bring back the pub links, which is a very popular tournament in the state. There's even a USGA pub links. So it was a big tournament that they did away with however many years ago. And I can't find in the press release where he actually says that. But he did say in the press release, maybe I just didn't put it in my article for some reason. Anyway, that's strange. But he does say in the press release, you'll just have to take my word for it. That he does say they would bring back the public links, which is obviously a big deal for people. and talking to us guys. So I just think it's an interesting question to ask. What happens if, if Riga wins? I think that doesn't matter, because they can do whatever they want. They always have a course. They have a course for the kids to play. They have a course for the buttonhole kids to play. Hopefully the buttonhole kids and the parents know that they can go play Triggs, because we heard from several parents over the course of this whole thing who said, I've been a buttonhole parent, or my kid has been a buttonhole kid for years, and he's never known that he can just go and play Triggs for free. You have to go play in like off hours or whatever. And I think there's some caveat where the parent has to make the tee time or something along those lines, but they can't do that. And apparently, people didn't know that. So, again, that's my opinion on it as far as the bid goes. I think Riga has the best bid. Now, will they win? Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But certainly Wednesday, certainly this weekend could be interesting. If there are fireworks of some sort, that could be interesting for sure. But certainly Wednesday morning will be very interesting down at City Hall with the public hearing. Again, it starts at 9 a.m. And again, I'm going to do some research, have some conversations over the next couple of days, and figure out how we can cover it, other than me just being there. I mean, that's pretty basic. How we can cover it, what's the best way to cover it, and see what exactly we can do with it. And then I will let you all know, probably either in a quick video post or a Facebook post or whatever, probably by like Tuesday, our game plan for it. So now, of course, our game plan for it, we could have a game plan and it could fall through for any number of reasons. One of which is the Wi-Fi at City Hall is not tremendous, like I've said 3 times. So there's that. So that's coming up on Wednesday. A couple other announcements, and then I'm gonna get out of here so you all can move on with your life. A couple of other announcements. Coming Monday, we have episode 1 of our fitness series with Michael Edwards of Shore Golf Performance and Physical Therapy over at Cranston Country Club. Episode 1 premieres on Monday. It'll go up on our website in the morning. We'll have a handful of social media clips from it. And I'm really excited about this. I'm really excited about doing this kind of series. I don't know exactly how many episodes it's going to be, probably 4 or 5 or so over the next couple of months. So we're going to try to do 1 episode a month. So really excited about this. It's golf fitness, how to stay fit in the off season, what exercises to do, what not to do, how to practice in the off season, type of thing. So super excited about this. So that's coming Monday. The video is already edited, it's already done, and super. It came out really good. And so this is just episode 1. Episode 2, 3, 4, maybe 5. It's gonna be more. This is more of a setting stage type of episode. The other episode is gonna be more kind of workout, not lift weights workout necessarily, but kind of workout focused, which will be exciting. So super excited for that. So that's coming Monday. It's called Fit for Golf with Michael Edwards. Episode 1 again premieres on Monday. So you definitely want to check that out. The other thing too is the handicap survey. We're going to close that probably early November. What's today? October 20th. So probably early November, we're going to close that. And then we're going to start kind of putting some data together, releasing some of the data. It is quite fascinating, I have to tell you. I've already shown a couple of people some of the data, kind of in the back, behind the scenes a little bit of the poll. I've already shown some of the people the data, some of the data that we've gotten, and they were fascinated by it. So the data is awesome. Thank you to everybody who's done it so far. We're going to do another push for it. I've just been so busy with other content that I haven't reposted it. It is pinned to the top of our page, but I know most people scroll right by that. I don't blame you. I scroll by pinned posts as well. So funny, your pinned posts, you're supposed to be there so people can see it first. And I feel like most people just scroll by that stuff. You're almost better off just reposting it on Facebook every day, it feels like. So we're going to repost it probably this weekend. I just always feel better when we have 5 or 6 articles, and then I'm just adding new old articles to it, and we're posting 20 articles a day. So So thank you to everybody who's done the survey already. Excuse me, lots of talking. Thank you to everyone who's done the survey already. If you haven't done it, go fill it out. It's on our website. Just type in, you should just be able to type in survey and it should come up, or handicap survey or whatever. Well, along those lines, it'll come up. But if not, it's pinned at the top of our Facebook page. So you can just click on it there, and we'll do another social media push for it as well. And then lastly, Michael Edwards at Shore Golf again. We're doing Fit for Golf starting Monday, but he's holding an open house, his second open house on Saturday afternoon from 12 p.m. kind of on. And we'll re-social that as well. So that's what we have going on. Again, big week next week with the Triggs hearing, and who knows where we'll be, by then, as far as this Rhode Island Golf's new rivalry, if you will. So that's all we have. This has been the Golf Dudes podcast. Thank you so much to everybody for tuning in. Thank you so much for supporting us over the last 2.5 years, 3 years or so. It's certainly been a lot of fun, and I will talk to you all next week from City Hall in some way, shape, or form. So it should be interesting, to say the least. This is Golf Dudes Podcast. Hope you all enjoy your night, enjoy your weekend, and we'll talk to you throughout the weekend, of course, on GolfNewsRI.com. Bye-bye.